So with me covering things that aren't a cult but feel like a cult, I have taken shots at moms. I've taken shots at parents who screw like bunnies on their kids' furniture. And so I think it's time that I, take some shots at Gen Z. That's it. That's my intro. Hi, I'm Amanda. You're watching Swell Entertainment, and today I'm going to be talking about Squishmallows, or what's not a cult but feels like a cult, Squishmallows edition. Ever since I started talking about the what's not a cult but feels like a cult trend on TikTok, and I talked about nuggets and then redone and the moms who love it, I have been inundated with you all telling me to talk about Squishmallows. And for the longest time, I told myself I wasn't gonna do it. Because I know myself, I have an addicted personality. The last thing I need is to have another thing that I want to hoard. I'm back on hoarding books after cleansing my whole collection in 2020. Now that I'm in my own place and I have to move stuff myself when I leave here, I've decided, you know what? I'm just gonna start buying books again. Don't know how that's gonna go for me. But you guys kept talking about Squishmallows, and I still on a weekly basis get DMs asking that if I like talking about Ray Dunn, I need to talk about Squishmallows. So might as well. Here we are. But first, before I talk to you about the Squishmallow that I got, because yes, of course I bought one for this video, let me tell you about the sponsors for this video, Vita Editor. Vita Editor is a video editing app that helps you edit your videos in the easiest way possible and with the most options to personalize them. The app's standard formatting actually works perfect for all current social media sharing video apps, such as TikTok and Instagram, which is personally what I use it for. But they also have plenty of templates available to help you make videos for YouTube and vlogs. Editing Amanda here to show you how to use Vita Editor. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit new project and put together a couple of clips that I took at Zoo Miami earlier this month. Vita Editor makes it super easy to trim and cut down clips. And there we go, there's all my editing done for that as far as trimming the clips. And then I can go ahead and play with the speed, the volume, all of that. But first, I'm gonna go over to style. They have this great new feature where you can actually apply different filters and such to your footage, and it adds text and things like that as well. Personally, I like the cinema look, but I'm gonna go with the VHS today and see how that looks on there. Alrighty, and that adds a cool tint to all of my footage and also a couple of cool editing bits. And then I can also add text like Zoo Miami. They also have a variety of stickers. So for the footage of me going down the slide with the otter, over the otter I'm gonna put this cute little heart emoji, I think. I can double up the hearts and change how they are, and I can play around with them a bit. I think I'm gonna put a GIF over where the crocodile is in the distance. I'm gonna put this right over there, and let's see how that looks. They also have a ton of effects available outside of the style edits. A variety of stock footage available as well in both portrait and landscape mode for whatever you might need it for. Vita Editor is completely free. If you find that editing videos in Reels or for TikTok is too difficult on said apps, Vita Editor is perfect for you. Go ahead and click the link in my description box to download Vita Editor today. Thank you again to Vita Editor for sponsoring this video. I had no idea how to go about doing this video, truly, because I wasn't really being pushed a whole lot of Squishmallow content. Every once in a while I would get a Squishmallow video that was like complaining about the scalpers and people overbuying and things like that. So I was kind of not entirely sure why so many people were like pushing me to talk about Squishmallows. From where I was, I mean, it just looked like they looked soft. Some of them were cute. There was a lot of different designs, but they don't look exceedingly difficult to manufacture. Let's go with that. So I didn't understand why the scarcity seemed to be applied to these Squishmallows and why there was a whole genre of Squishmallows content. Because you obviously, with any type of collecting, you have people who like show off their collections and do all that. They run Instagram pages dedicated to their Squishmallows. They have full-on collection hauls or where they go through and just show you their whole collection. No, there is a whole genre of Squishmallow content that is specific to Squishmallow hunting. And it's kind of like hunting for Ray Dunn, except for this all seems to be that's not the word. Why did the word fornicated? That's not the word at all. What is wrong with me? Am I having a stroke? Perpetuated. That's the fucking word. This all seems to be perpetuated. The scarcity, the need, the hoarding of Squishmallows seems to almost be entirely maintained and perpetuated by Gen Z. Now, before I move on talking about Gen Z and their obsession with squishy animals, I should point out that I am technically I was born in 1997, but I'm technically, depending on which graph you look at, I am Gen Z. But because I'm 23, that makes people annoyed when I say that I'm Gen Z, so they put me with the millennials. So I usually just tell people I'm part of whichever group you are mad at in the moment, because it saves me a lot of goddamn time. It really does. If you want to look at this as a millennial shitting on Gen Z, fine. If you want to look at this as a Gen Z trying to be like, I'm not like other Gen Z, feel free. I don't care. I just know that my accountant is going to give me shit for putting a stuffed pineapple on my tax write-offs for 2021. Like I did with Ray Dunn, I couldn't do it with Nugget because it was just physically impossible. I knew I had to go and hunt for a Squishmallow, because what's the point of doing these videos where I am nothing but a professional consumer if I don't run the risk of potentially having to like punch a scalper in the face? Like I feel like that's what I need to be doing. I need the thrill of the hunt, okay? So I went to 4 targets, and every single one where I went and hunted for a Squishmallow, whatever, however, these things, every single one that I went to, I looked around, couldn't find any. And then I asked like one of the target workers, like, hey, do you guys carry Squishmallows? And every single one of them, they looked at me like I looked like I liked the smell of cocaine. Like it was very weird. I don't know if it was like, I don't know what the hell that is, or if it was, you think we still have those in stock? Please, you're like an hour late. Like I'm sure it's something like that. Didn't get any Squishmallows, but luckily it wasn't a complete giveaway for those trips, because I'm doing eventually another video on mini brands and the weird form of consumerism of like cutifying consumerism. And how I don't know how I feel about that. That's gonna be a future video. It's coming. So I ended up getting this thing from Amazon. But then I walked into a Walgreens and there was like a bunch of them. And I think it was Pluto from Mickey Mouse. But I was like, I don't want Pluto. So I'm gonna stick with my pineapple that I was gonna call grape to be annoying, but then it's already named. So now I feel like I'm gonna confuse her if I rename the Squishmallow. And looking at this, it's very cute. And I should point out, I bought this Squishmallow from Amazon because a lot of them seem to have like absurd prices. And so my assumption was that it was like direct seller type of thing where it was like fulfilled by seller, and people were stockpiling Squishmallows and then selling them through Amazon. And that's why the prices were hiking up. Because seems to be the case with a lot of Squishmallows, is that people are going on so many hunts, partially because they want Squishmallows, the thrill of the hunt, that type of thing, but also it's the resale value. However, a lot of the reselling that I saw a lot of people saying they were selling it on Mercari. I checked Mercari. I used to sell other things on Mercari. Nothing was too ridiculously priced considering how affordable these things actually are. It was nothing as obscene as like the nugget reselling where someone was selling a nugget for 10 grand. Nothing like that. It's like this weird following with Squishmallows, because the fandom, the cult-like following, definitely there. But the imposed scarcity, the competition almost, is it just the pandemic? Can we blame the pandemic on this? I'm talking to a stuffed pineapple with beady eyes. This is concerning. I don't know how I feel about the eyes. Like I feel like it's judging me. Maui, are you judging me? Oh, her name is Maui, by the way. I bought this Maui for no reason other than it seemed to be like retail price basically on Amazon. And so I was like, okay, like let's get one. I'm from the land of Webkins. Like I used to hoard Webkins. There was a time in my life where like, if you went to a birthday party, if you didn't get the birthday kid a Webkins, you were a shitty friend. That's the culture. And they say white people don't have any culture. Oh God. Okay. I'm not used to these things having personalities or names or anything like that. But not only does Maui named, Maui has a whole little bio. that I felt incredibly called out by. Skateboards and scuba diving are two scary things Maui is determined to conquer her fear of. She already checked roller coasters and rollerblading off her list. Maui doesn't like to be scared, so she tries to conquer her fears by trying new things. Can Maui help you overcome one of your fears? What is this channel, if not me trying random shit to deal with my anxiety? What else is... I am called out by goddamn stuff by now. It's beady little eyes. Like, I keep this thing facing away from me. Like, I don't even keep this thing. It's very soft. I should point that out. It's not particularly... I want to cut it open. I want to know what type of material is in this. Polyester fibers to clean, hand wash, air dry. Are people hand washing their Squishmallows? It's fairly well made. It's a Squishmallow. They're all egg-shaped. That's like the whole point of Squishmallows, is that they're like egg-shaped? No. I tried hard to try and track the scalping of it because I saw people getting mad. I couldn't really find anything where I'm like, okay, are we justifying what is causing this? Like, are we justifying the scarcity that is, because like obviously you're creating scarcity so people are willing to pay higher prices for the things that you bought at retail, but like, I'm not understanding. So I looked up a variety of articles talking about Squishmallows, trying to see if there was anything tracking the rise in popularity. And for the most part, everything seemed to be talking about Gen Z, specifically older Gen Z, and its relation to the pandemic and how that made things worse and all of that. Because personally, I've never heard of Squishmallows prior to like mid to end 2020. And though I am secretly a child, I don't really give into toys like this. I'm like a dork, so I look at like superhero shit. So like this wouldn't be in my wheelhouse. Like if it looked like a Marvel character, probably, but you know, whatever. But I usually don't pay a whole lot of attention to toys unless it pops up on Twitter, like someone's like, oh, look at this one thing that malfunctions and says a swear word, because then I'm like, oh my God, can I get that? But other than that, usually I don't pay a whole lot of attention to toys. The last time I really was like, I want to get this toy to like investigate it, I guess, was probably when I was in college and a girl in my class brought in her child's toy and did a presentation about Hatchimals. It was definitely very interesting, but I was intrigued about the Hatchimals because she was like, she got it as a gift and it was taking forever to open. So I just cut it open and then I broke it. So I was gonna go get another one and it was like $90. And then I started looking into Hatchimals, and that's a whole other thing. Let me know if you guys want me to, if I'm gonna start doing toy analyses. It's been a while since like a toy has been prolific enough for me to be interested in discussing it or looking into it, I guess you could say. That's the way for me to put it. I started looking into Squishmallows and looked up a couple different articles. So this one is from the New York Times, and this one talks about how it was actually created in 2017 and they have exploded in popularity during the pandemic thanks to social media and in particular TikTok, or Squish Talk as fans call it. I have never heard it called Squish Talk. Basically, this whole article's whole point is that part of the isolation of the pandemic led to a rise in people wanting to buy stuffed animals, and then Squishmallows were just kind of already on an uptick in popularity, and then the pandemic just like pushed it over. Kind of like what happened with nugget couches, okay? Like people were stuck inside with their kids, so they were trying to get their hands on a nugget so that their kids had more things to do inside that wasn't annoying their parents, you know? Like that type of thing. This was something that was soft, huggable. A lot of people were single and lonely like myself in the pandemic, so you know, you've got something to like squeeze onto. Even though the craze was coming before the pandemic, it certainly hit a fever pitch in the past year, and this craving for comfort is a big part of it, said Kelly Dean, Senior Vice President of Marketing at Jazzwares, the parent company of Kelly Toy, which created Squishmallows. Jazzwares said in early March of 2021, okay, so early March of 2021, so a couple months ago, that it sold more than 73 million toys. In February of 2020, The Toy Book, a trade publication, reported that the company had sold 50 million Squishmallows. According to the company, sales of Squishmallows have tripled in the past 6 months. Not surprising. People want stuff. It's kind of the FOMO, like people are hoarding Squishmallows and showing how how many Squishmallows they have, which kind of makes you wonder, like, okay, what's the hype? So you get one and then you're like, this one's cute, but like, you know, the dragon one's also cute. Maybe I should get the dragon and see if that likes that one. Oh, but then hey, they have a whole space line now. So maybe I want the space line. And if you guys let me buy another goddamn Squishmallow, you better unsubscribe and then like beat me with the subscribe button or something. Do not let me buy more of these. This is the only one I have. Maui will be my special Squishmallow child that'll sit on my couch and not face me when I'm sleeping because the beady eyes scare me, okay? Do not let me buy more Squishmallows. As we've talked about with TikTok, it's a great way to kind of build hype for things, good and bad. I've made a variety of videos about TikTok and marketing on TikTok and how TikTok can like kind of fuel things and fuel trends, particularly when the queen of TikTok endorses your product. That doesn't hurt. A couple of months ago, we had Charli D'Amelio share her Squishmallow collection with the hashtag Squishmallow, please sponsor me. That already, you've got another 20 million people buying Squishmallows, maybe? I don't know. What's her following right now? Like over 100 million? There are more than 800 Squishmallow characters, and hunting for rare ones has become a popular pastime. Squishmallow hunters post videos from their quests and memes about the frenzy on TikTok, where videos with the hashtag accrued hundreds of millions. So this is from the co-president of Kelly Toy, Jonathan Kelly. The success of Squishmallows comes from the exclusivity, which helps drive collectibility. He said that the company is increasing production to keep up demand. It's created a lot of issues finding them in stores, said Rebecca Brown, 21, a college student in Huntsville, Alabama, who has 325 Squishmallows. There's a lot of scalpers now that go out and buy an entire store's stock. Is this her? Oh my God, she is so goddamn. She could make like a full-size igloo. Like she could stand up in it if she wanted to with all her Squishmallows. I guess you could say this isn't any different than someone buying, say, Funko Pops. And someone's gonna get mad at me for making that comparison. But like I have a couple of those. Mostly what I collect now is, like I said, books. I'm hoarding books. That's hoarding, it's not collecting. I'm hoarding books. I'm reading them though, so I mean, it's still hoarding. But I mean, I have a mug collection. I just got another mug while I was in Miami. Like I said in my Ray Dunn video, everyone adds value to different things and everyone, you know, has a price for the items that they deem valuable or collectible. And the thing that I find interesting about Squishmallows is that none of them are like limited edition. Certain things definitely aren't sold year round, but they come back here and there, which kind of dries up like the demand for those, but there's definitely no rarity to them, quite like with Ray Dunn, or again, the scarcity of like only so much is being available to be made, because I mean, these are mass produced. It's not like the nuggets, which are also now mass produced, but I mean, nuggets are bigger. It's a little hard. You can only make so many units an hour, that type of thing. You can definitely make more of these an hour that you can make a nugget, you know? It's interesting to see the scarcity because it really doesn't, I don't know how scarce it is. Now that I'm looking for these, I now notice them everywhere. That's always the problem with these videos, is I see them everywhere. When I go into my local CVS, one day it's stock full, and then literally I go back like in a couple hours later because I forgot something, because I'm a forgetful little shit and I never bring a grocery list. Then I find that it's completely wiped out. So I really don't know where these are going, because I can't imagine that everyone's hoarding them. They've also made it very clear that like the value is not going to be there, you know, long term. Some people were trying to say like, oh, this is gonna be like Beanie Babies, like you can sell them for a high profit years down the line. I don't think so, just because of how many there are. But I mean, I'm sure there was a time in life where people didn't think that Pokemon cards were all that valuable, and now like they're not allowed to sell them at Target because people were getting into fights with cashiers over not having enough packs. And then I'm sure Beanie Babies as well at the same time. There were people who didn't think that those were valuable at a certain point. And then there was my favorite picture of all time is the couple that's getting a divorce and they're dividing their collection of Beanie Babies. Are we gonna see that one day where divorcing couples are gonna have to divide up their Squishmallow hoards? Like I can't wait. Please document that if that happens. Is there a whole point to this video? I don't think so. It's just me telling you about Squishmallows. Again, I'm fascinated by this case because the scarcity isn't real. Like it doesn't seem real. The whole goal of the toy market in general is to just kind of have enough for everyone. And then when there isn't enough of the toys, unless it's a limited edition, collector's editions, whatever, that's not what these are. These are just stuffed animals that are named, that are characters that they created, that for some reason people have decided they want to hold and have and obsess over, which is fine, do what you will. But I'm just fascinated that like they sell out so quickly, or that they're just disappearing, or that there's even scalpers, because like they're not limited edition. Like even the ones that are like rare are like, they're gonna come back. Like they've made that clear. It's so odd. I'm gonna be fascinated to see in like a couple of years what comes of Squishmallows, because I always think it's interesting when there's like one particular toy, because like the toy market's insane. Like if I could come up with a toy and that toy could be like sustaining, I think that's where you hit a jackpot. So I mean, the fact that Squishmallows are maintaining at a rate that they are, and that Gen Z has decided like, yes, ours, we like these, I think is brilliant, because God, Gen Z moves so quickly on trends. So the fact that Gen Z is like camping out with, or a good chunk of Gen Z, I shouldn't put all of Gen Z into one bucket, a chunk of Gen Z, because again, Ray Dunn, mostly parents, moms that I saw talking about it, Nuggets, mostly moms talking about it, and then now with this, I see mostly girls and guys in their 20s talking about these, or like 18 to 24. So like I'm just in that cusp. Gen Z millennials, basically, like cuspers. Oh God. Is that why I kind of want more of you? Are you targeting me because I'm a cusper? I'm gonna have to donate that. I don't know if I'm explaining my point correctly, because my point is mostly non-existent. It's really just me trying to vocalize my fascination with how something as random as this particular stuffed animal, like why is this stuffed animal any more special than any other stuffed animal on the market, other than it's soft and squishy and it's shaped like an egg? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Squishmallows in the future. Maybe this will be, you know, Webkins had like a website. Is there going to be a Squishmallows website? Squishmallows right now are just Squishmallows. So I feel like they have to go some type of lateral move forward. You know, I think it's going to be interesting to see. Eventually with this whole what's not a cult but feels like a cult deep dives that I do, I would like to do like a check-in like a couple of months later and like go through all of them, because so many of you still send me photos of Ray Dunn stuff like, I'm buying this because of your video, and it's like, where's my check, Ray Dunn? I still get comments about how my green couch is not a nugget and how it's not as cool as a nugget. I'm sure I'm going to get people sending me random photos of their Squishmallow hoards. I did look on Facebook to see if I could find any Squishmallow After Dark groups, because ever since the nugget video, I'm so intrigued to see what things have After Dark groups. And I was fairly certain I was gonna find one for Squishmallows, no joke. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but like I am aware of like the whole dominant, submissive, daddy dom, little girl role play type of thing. Stuffed animals are like a subset of that essentially, or like an element of that to some people, for some people. And so I wasn't sure if like there would be a whole subset of that on Facebook, because that seems to be what the trend has been. Like behave and I'll buy you a Squishmallow type of thing, you know, like the whole reward system, whatever. But no, I didn't find that. So let me know. I have any doms watching this. Let me know if you use Squishmallows as like a behavioral thing with your littles. Do I sound like a psycho as I'm saying it? Because it sounds ridiculous when I say it. In my brain, I was like, oh yeah, I should just like bring this up. And then as I say it out loud, it sounds ridiculous. So I don't know, but that's going to be it. Let me know what's not a cult that feels like a cult that you would like me to talk about next. Do you have Squishmallows? Are you a hoarder of Squishmallows? Are you a seller of Squishmallows? When's the last time you went on a Squishmallows hunt? And that's going to be it. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. If you don't like supporting me on Patreon, that'll be listed down below. If you'd like to follow me on my social media, that'll be all up here. And that's going to be it. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. Again, I'm intrigued by like the self-imposed scarcity that seems to be, but then there is a lot of people who do have like a genuine connection to their Squishmallows. Like this one particular person who has Squishmallow in their bio, she's going off to college and she can't bring as many Squishmallows as she would like, so she took photos of all of them to hang up on her walls. Like they are her children. I mean, do what you gotta do to get through college. Thank you, Allie, Alan, Alex, Brayden, Cameron, Christopher, Chris, Cody, Colton, Crash PC, Destiny, Devin, Dirty One, Don, Elliot, Evan, Feckless, Hopeless, Hollow, Jacka Ray, Joe, John M, Jordan, Joseph, Kenny, Kevin, Kim, Kristen, Lexi, Luis, Manga, Matt O, Matthew S, Meme Lord the Red, Michael, Jane, Nathaniel, Pat, Palak, Rob, Robbie, Robert Ross, Sam, Simon, Stephen, Tasha, Timothy, Tom, Wendy, Williams, Under.